Welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads. I hope you're doing well. We are back with another Let Me Know video. This is Let Me Know number 20. Yes, 20 videos in the Let Me Know series now. That in of itself is remarkable. It's been great. I enjoy this series quite a lot. I know a number of folks around the BookTube community and a lot of subscribers enjoy commenting, weighing in, providing their own kind of takes and lists and opinions, and I think it's great. This is the whole purpose of this series, is to promote some discussion, whether or not we share the same opinion or we're on polar opposites when it comes to different discussionary topics. That is the point of this. Today we have an interesting one. I had some anxiety around this, and I'm going to talk about why that's important, but today's topic is the value of reading classics in modern times. And specifically, the question is are classics still relevant today? Well, with that being said, myself, who is one who hasn't read many classic books or read many classic authors, I don't know if I'm the best person to be having this discussion. But as I started to get my notes together and do a little bit of research, I started to think and kind of flip. And, when it comes to classics, I have a lot of anxiety. And so when I look at a classic piece of literature or a classic author, I kind of shy away because, it's intimidating. So as I was getting my notes together for this, I was at first intimidated by this and didn't know if this was gonna work as a subject. But then as I got more into it, I thought, you know what? I do have something to add here. And so here we are. So first and foremost, what's classic? And that was my first question. It's like, okay, well, for someone who hasn't read a lot of classics, what is a classic? And so one definition that I found online is classics is someone who has written works that are considered timeless with enduring relevance and high literary quality, often exploring universal themes that resonate across generations and are recognized as significant contributions in literature. It can also mean a classic in the sense of the time period which the book describes or it took place in. You talk about Greece and Rome and that classic time period. Another kind of representation was a quote that I saw from Mark Twain, and he said, "A classic is something everyone wants to read, but no one wants to read." And that, I thought, really resonated with me. But as I get more into this kind of question, and I thought about my notes, I started to realize, as my BookTube journey has progressed, and as I've been on BookTube longer and attained more subscribers, but yet evolved my own subscribers, my own subscriber base, my own channels that I enjoy, I see more and more classics out there, and my proximity to those people and those books, even if just by watching other people's videos and their takes on these literary masterpieces, I start questioning whether or not why I'm not reading more of these. And so let's dive right in. Are classics still relevant? Well, I started to take a step back and, okay, what examples do I have? But then I started, doing some research. Is this author considered classic? Because I have read some from him. And lo and behold, I have some examples and representation here to show you. Louis L'Amour is considered, when it comes to Westerns, a classic author. He definitely is one of the godfathers of Westerns. And yeah, I've read quite a bit of Louis L'Amour. Steinbeck obviously has some classics, and I've read several of them. Of Men, I've read several. I've read The Grapes of Wrath. So yeah, I have read that. I recently started to really enjoy Robert E. Howard. Definitely a classics when it comes to the sci-fi, sword and sorcery, fantasy. Really, really good stuff. Sherlock Holmes. Classic mystery. Definitely a classic. Someone I want to get to really quickly, Hemingway is on my shelf. Definitely considered a classic. Two books I haven't read, but I know are classics. that I want to get to soon. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and The Odyssey by Homer, classic pieces of literature. And my last example, Bradbury. Definitely a classic a classic author when it comes to sci-fi. So, in reading these, what's the point of this list? Yes, I've read some of these, some I haven't. But the point is that their particular entries are considered classics, and they do have relevance today. And one of the great examples is obviously Louis L'Amour. I started reading Westerns last year. I really took to them. I think they have tremendous relevance today because it does create the sense of Americana from the past, and I think they're great tales, great palate cleansers, great stories. We're obviously reading through the Sackett series, and I'm really enjoying that. Then I got really ingratiated, and I've been doing my own Conan series and started reading more Robert E. Howard, and wow. I've read a lot of modern fantasy, and then when you go to Sword and Sorcery fantasy from Howard, how it stands up to today's takes from Abercrombie, Butcher, Sanderson, it's just as good. I think it definitely has some differences, but its relevance is still, it has that staying power that just makes it very enjoyable. So, as always, with those examples, with the context of this discussion, are classics relevant today? That is the question. I would like to know your thoughts on this and your examples. So, as always, let me know. And I will talk to you all on the next one. Thanks.